I've made a huge mistake. A mistake that's stupid, embarrassing, and expensive. I've been riding my bike with a well-worn chain. Now, when you ride your bike with a worn chain, it starts to damage your components. Your cassette will be the first to go, followed by your chain rings. So instead of spending $2,000 to replace my chain on time, I've had to spend an additional $5,000 to buy a new cassette. And if my chain rings are bad, that's going to cost me another $5,000 as well. So today I'm going to show you how you can check your chain for wear using a special chain wear tool. I'm also going to show you how to do that with a simple ruler and how to do it with no tools at all. So let's get right into it.
Okay, so this is the chain wear tool I use. You may have a different model, but most common models work in pretty much the same way. I like this particular tool because it looks like a Klingon bat'leth. This part hooks onto the rollers between two inner plates. Then you try to insert these prongs into the gaps between your rollers at the other end. If a prong goes in deep enough for you to see these markers on the other side, you know the chain has the corresponding amount of wear. If this prong goes in, your chain is 0.5% worn, and this is the point at which you have to replace 11 or 12 speed chains. If this prong goes in, your chain is more worn at 0.75% wear. Most 10-speed chains or lower should be replaced at this level. Finally, the most worn 1% wear prong, only single-speed chains should be allowed to reach this level. And this is when you replace them. I prefer this tool to the Decathlon one because you don't have to flip it around for different readings. And as a bonus, it has these handy chain hooks to hold the chain in place when you're splitting it. But really, any tool is better than no tool, and I will be getting into how to do this with a ruler as well. So this is my 10-speed MTB chain that has been used for just under 4,000 kilometers. First, remove the slack by putting some tension on the chain. Don't insert the tool between outer plates, insert it between inner plates, and let the prongs drop between the rollers on the other side. The 0.5% prong goes right in, the next prong goes in, but you can't see the marking. So it's not yet 0.75% worn. Because chain wear is uneven, you should check the readings at several points on the chain. I could use this chain for another few hundred kilometers, and that would be a great time to replace it, as it is approaching 0.75% wear and hasn't yet exceeded it. This is an old 7-speed hybrid that has been ridden for less than 1,000 kilometers. No prongs go in at this location, but if we try another spot, the 0.5% prong goes in. This is why it's important to try at multiple locations. Still, the 0.75% prong doesn't go in, so this chain is still good to go, at least from a wear point of view. Here's a brand new chain that hasn't been used at all. As expected, the prongs don't go in at all. Finally, the pièce de résistance. My 11-speed road bike chain, all the prongs go in. So it's at a whopping 1% wear. There isn't even any point checking at any other locations. This chain is f***. This chain has been used for an estimated 10,000 kilometers. I say estimated because I bought this bike used and the previous owner did not record his rides.
So this chain was supposed to be replaced at 0.5% wear, and right now it's every bike owner's nightmare and bike store's dream. How did my chain get this bad? Well, I bought the bike used, didn't bother to check the chain, and just rode off into the sunset. For the next 1,500 kilometers, I didn't check the chain at all, and well, here we are today. So use these techniques to ensure this doesn't happen to your bike and your chain, and conversely, to guard against being conned into replacing your chain before time when it still has plenty of miles left on it. By the way, if you're finding this video useful, do like it and maybe even share it. It helps both the video and the channel quite a bit.
Let me show you what 1% wear actually looks like. On top is my road bike chain, and at the bottom is a brand new chain. I've aligned the links at the start. And you can see these links slowly go out of alignment. This is how misaligned they are in the middle of the chain. And finally, you can see how much longer my old chain is compared to the new chain. So what's going on here? Have our plates actually stretched? Not really. Take a look at this diagram. The pins and the bushings have worn out, and this results in an increase in the effective length of the chain. Chain wear is unavoidable, but it can be hastened by riding with a chain that's very dirty or isn't sufficiently lubricated. I won't go into more details here. Check the description if you'd like to learn more. Now let me show you how to check the chain using a ruler. Each link is supposed to be exactly 1 inch long. Align the start of your ruler to the start of a link and see how far the 8-inch mark is from the 8th link. This reading says 1/16th of an inch, which is more than 0.75% worn. Let's get a more sensitive measurement. Align the 21 centimeter mark to the start of a link and find the start of the last link at the end of the ruler. We're doing it backwards because many rulers have half millimeter markings only at the beginning of the ruler. Take the reading, you can eyeball it, but taking a photo might make it easier to read. So let's see, 0.4 centimeters. That means the length is 21 minus 0.4, that's 20.6 centimeters. It's supposed to be 20.32, so 0.28 centimeters is how much the chain has stretched. That works out to 1.3%. It's a wee bit tricky to align the ruler, then it might shift as you take the reading, and being off by just a millimeter or two could make a good chain look bad or a bad chain look good. This is why I would recommend just using the tool instead.
So how can you tell that your chain needs replacement without any instruments? Put it in the big ring on the front and the small cog at the back, and then try to lift the chain off the chain ring. Now if you can see space across maybe 3 to 4 teeth, then it could need replacement. I would still use the tool though. So how can you tell that your cassette needs replacement as well? Well, one way is to get your new chain on, put your bike on the floor or on a rack and press the rear brake and put some force through the pedals. If you find that the chain starts to ride up the cog like this, that cog is most likely worn. Now if you ride the bike in this condition, you may find that the gears start to skip. Now this could happen only in the cogs you use most often or sometimes in your largest gears. Either way, you will most likely have to replace the entire cassette. Now you can tell visually as well, the teeth on cogs and chain rings that are well worn look like shark teeth, but they could be problematic well before they reach that stage. It would take heaps of experience to be able to detect that visually. In the description, I'll leave a link to a video that goes deeper into this and which does a fantastic job explaining how a stretched chain damages your components. For now, go watch this video on how to keep your bike rides exciting. If you have any questions, leave a comment below and I'll do my best to answer. Until next time, stay safe.